Healthcare issues on Cape Breton are once again grabbing headlines. A group of doctors who say the island's facilities are hemorrhaging family doctors and specialists spoke out in the lead up to the election. 7 physicians gave residents and candidates what they called an update on the state of affairs in Cape Breton. It comes after learning that 6 more doctors will be leaving the island within a month. The group want voters to keep healthcare top of mind at the polling stations next week, and they want politicians to understand the severity of the problems.
What's not working, because we've told them. The public has told them. It's all over the newspaper, all over the province. All the politicians, all the people know what the problems are. I'd like to see the politicians come out with a plan to fix those problems.
As a GP, it is devastating to recommend a treatment to a patient that is inaccessible to them. It's like writing a prescription for a medication that is vital to recovery and dating it for 9 months in the future.
We are tired of being misled by the health authority. They are not competent to do what they're doing, and that is the bottom line. We have got to have local leadership, and it has to be competent. Thank you.
The doctors say that physicians are leaving the island for a number of reasons, but they say not enough is being done to fill their positions. Instead of talking health care, Liberal leader Steve McNeil used the last Friday in the campaign to promote his party's economic plan. McNeil paid a visit to Blue Drop Training and Simulations. The technology company has seen significant growth over the last few years, and McNeil says it's a sign of more good times to come.
This kind of success that we see is because when we came into office, we had a very different story. But what I see behind me is why I'm so optimistic about the future. Our economy had been shrinking for 2 consecutive years under the NDP. 6,000 people had left our province to go elsewhere looking for work. I knew our province could do better. I wanted to do better, and Blue Drop demonstrates that we can do it better here in this province.
And as the election draws to a close, the party leaders are making pushes in key ridings. Today, NDP leader Gary Burrell and PC leader Jamie Bailey were both campaigning in the riding of Truro, Bible Hill, Millbrook, Salmon River. Paul Withers was there too and has a look at the race.
Truro looks like a pretty conservative and conventional sort of place. After all, what could be more traditional than its best known and oldest business, Stanfield's Underwear? But conventions went by the wayside here in 2009 when actress Lenore Zann was elected for the NDP, ending a long Tory run. More importantly, she was re-elected in 2013 when New Democrats everywhere else in Nova Scotia were being defeated.
Right there.
As Zann seeks a 3rd term, she's counting on her experience and popularity to pull her through again.
But also, I cut through Liberals and Conservatives. This is not a hotbed of NDPism in Truro, Bible Hill, Millbrook, Salmon River. It never has been. So what I am is a humanist, and I'm a people person. And so I usually get Liberals and Conservatives voting for me as well as the NDPers that are here.
I love this community.
Her progressive conservative opponent is a Dalhousie University Agricultural Campus Assistant Dean, Kelty Jones, who nearly unseated the town's mayor in October. Jones says Jamie Bailey will end the divisiveness that has marked the McNeil government.
The theme that runs across all of the issues that I'm talking about, healthcare, education, labor relations, all of that, I believe that the Progressive Conservative Party has an approach that is that way. We have stated that we will be bringing people together, having the conversations that we need before we develop our plans so that we can make sure we get it right the first time.
We've been really busy. We've been talking to a lot of people.
Liberal Craig Johnson is executive director of the local hospice. He helped manage Bill Casey's last federal win here, and Casey has been returning the favor.
My message is that I think it's time for generational shift. I think we're seeing that at the business level and the nonprofit level across our community. It's time for that shift to take place at the political level. I think it's time for a fresh voice at the legislature. I think it's an exciting time in Truro. I think it's time for the money to start coming to the hub, not through the hub.
In this race, the candidates speak well of each other. Opponents say Truro changed for the better when it elected the charismatic Zann, but this is politics and they'd like to see her move on.
I'm ready to be that voice, and I really hope they'll give me their support.
But I am hearing from people that they think there's a time, it's time for a change.
As for Lenore Zann, she's not ready to give up, celebrating a win last night at a local Love Truro event where she was voted Truro's most famous person. The win she wants is on Tuesday. Paul Withers, CBC News, Truro.
Their parties may have turned their backs on them, but every vote garnered by two candidates that were cut loose will profit the parties they still legally represent. Both Jad Cernogorets and Bill McEwen will have their names on the ballot next to the party they entered this race representing. Both were dumped because of off-color or controversial online posts. As Jean LaRoche is here to tell us, the PCs and NDP are taking different positions when it comes to per-vote subsidies and whether a winner might be welcome in caucus. Okay, Jean, let's start with the money.
Well, as you might remember, 11 years ago, Nova Scotians started funding political parties through a per-vote subsidy. Right now, every single vote cast for a candidate who is affiliated to a political party is worth $1.67. Since 2006, that subsidy has fattened traditional party coffers to the tune of $2 to $2.5 million, so it's a fair chunk of change. In the case of the two candidates in question, each vote cast for Cernogorets will go to the PC tally and trigger the corresponding cash infusion. Votes for McEwen will go to the NDP. The NDP has not decided what to do with that money from Dartmouth East. The PC say they will not profit from the votes cast in Dartmouth South. They may even give the money away.
Okay, well, what happens if one of them pulls an upset and wins?
Well, the PCs are clear their candidate would not be welcome and would have to sit as an independent or try to convince another party to welcome them. The NDP has not made a decision yet. In fact, one of their staffers in an online conversation on Facebook this week seemed to be encouraging people to continue to vote for their candidate in Dartmouth East. As for leader Gary Burrell, he was not slamming the door shut on the possibility that Bill McEwen might join the NDP caucus.
That's farther down the road of us than we'd be prepared to go today, I think.
So, but is there a deal? Is there a tacit understanding that that candidate would be welcome?
There are no conversations down this road at this stage at all.
But you're not ruling it out in terms of whether he'd be welcome?
No, not in or out or up or down. It's not on the table for us today.
So despite the party having convinced McEwen to drop out of the race for off-color comments online, Burrell won't say that he is not welcome in the caucus in the remote chance that he would pull an upset, as you said, on Tuesday.
All right, we'll have to watch both of those. Thanks for that, Jean.
The Atlantica Party of Nova Scotia is new to provincial politics. The party has 15 candidates running in this, its first Nova Scotia election campaign. Among its promises, it wants to reduce the size of the civil service by 20%.
Our population's been flat. Our spending after inflation has doubled. The Auditor General said over the last 5 years, the burden on every single man, woman, and child in this province has gone up $850 in terms of supporting government. That is unsustainable.